welcome to Trucking Along with Kirsty. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. It's been crazy, and you know, people keep asking me about getting into trucking and ways to do it and companies, and unfortunately the answer right now is I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because many of the state's DMVs are closed, so you can't even go and test to get a permit. If you do and are able to go get the permit and you do go to a CDL school, when you go back home, it's possible the DMV will now be closed and you won't be able to convert that permit over to a CDL. So you need to make sure you know what's going on in your state, and because most companies are trying to abide by the social distancing, a lot of orientations have been canceled. I know Prime's orientations have been postponed till I believe it's April 6th. Now, can Prime turn around and say, oh, we're not bringing people in then either? Yes. If this virus gets worse and the cases keep increasing, it's possible. None of us know. So what I suggest is, you know, don't jump to any decisions yet. Don't just quit your job and say, this is what I'm going to do. You know, check out your DMV, apply to companies, call the companies, find out from the companies when they are going to allow orientations. Companies usually only accept your application for 30 days. So if you apply now, which is like, I think it's March 27th or 28th, something like that. If you apply now and they're not even going to have orientation until April 16th or April, you know, 20th or whatever, you might need to go renew your application. If you get your permit now, every state has a different validity period for their permits. So I'm just making this up off the top of my head, but it's possible New Jersey may say, well, you can have your learner's permit for say 3 weeks or 3 months, say 3 months. And then California might say, well, you can have your permit for 6 months. Somebody else might say you only get it for 3 weeks. So you need to know how long your permit is valid, because if you go get your permit and then you take the time to go apply and then it takes 2 or 3 weeks for you to get into the school, you might need to go renew that permit again anyway. So be aware of that. Be aware that trainers are probably going to be in demand. There's going to be some, you know, some trainers who decide they want to go home. They don't even want to be on the road. They want to go home. They want to be with their families. Others may say, well, I'm not going home. Like me, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. You know, I don't want to go home and get my family members sick, especially ones that are completely isolated. So, like, if somebody in my family got sick and they don't see anybody, then I'm the one that brought it to them, even if I don't feel sick. So, you know, in the meantime, understand, get your ducks in a row, understand what the companies want, protect your CDL. This is something that people just don't seem to comprehend. Every ticket and accident you have matters. The DUI that you got 2 years ago matters. It doesn't matter that you have your license for 25 years and you have 1 DUI from 6 months ago. It matters. They go by the last 3 years on your DMV in most cases. Now, you know, what you think is a long time ago, 2 years ago, is not going to seem like a long time ago to a trucking company. You have to understand, they need to trust you with their killing machine, their 80,000 pound killing machine. And to do that, they are going to investigate you. You know, that felony that you have could very well be a problem. I know at Prime, you need 10 years from the completion of your sentence. It's not 10 years from when you were convicted. It's 10 years from the completion of your sentence. Every company is going to have different guidelines on this. And a lot of them are going to say, well, it's a case by case. If everything else in your history is okay, they may accept you with that black mark. But if you're somebody that has a 15 mile per hour speed limit ticket, which is reckless driving, big deal. A lot of people don't think it is, but it's a big deal. And you have a felony, and you have a DUI from 3 years ago, and you haven't worked in the past 6 months, you are less likely to get a job at certain companies than at other companies. You might have to look for companies that pay less and are called second chances. That doesn't mean that you won't get hired. It just means you need to protect your CDL. And that starts even before you get one. Protect your license. If you have suspensions, I had somebody message me saying, well, my suspension was just because I didn't pay my car insurance. Okay, it's still a suspension. It still looks bad. It makes you look irresponsible. It makes you look like you don't care. And companies need to know that you care, that you're responsible, you'll protect them. Companies are at a high risk with new drivers. If you hurt somebody, if you kill somebody, it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars in settlements. It's going to cost millions of dollars in legal fees. In addition to that, you killed somebody. You took a life. And that's also millions of dollars of negative PR that just got added to that company. You blemish that company. It's not going to matter that that company has 8,000 drivers on the road and they had 1 fatality in the last 3 years. The only thing that the public's going to remember about that company is, that's the company that killed my sister, or killed, some old lady, or killed a family of 4. That's what the people are going to remember. So you have to understand, they are going to be strict and stringent. And if you have this carefree attitude of, well, it's just this, well, then guess what? They're not going to take you. Sorry. Accept for responsibility for what you did. Answer only the questions that they ask. If they ask, were you convicted in the last 3 years and you were arrested but weren't convicted, then don't say yes. Read the question and only answer that question. If they said, were you convicted in the last 3 years and yours was 5 years ago, don't put it down on the paper. It's not what they asked. And once you mention something, then they have to legally go back and investigate it. So only tell them what they ask. It protects you. And understand that it's not a personal issue. They're not trying to be mean and nasty and cold and unfeeling. They have to protect themselves, they have to protect their other drivers, and they have to protect the public. So, and a lot of companies that might be a little bit more strict, after you go to another company that might pay a little less, we all know that there are certain companies out there that are second chance companies and they pay less. But once you go to work for a company like that for a year, maybe 2, depending on what your situation is, then a higher paying company is going to be more willing to accept you and take a look at you. Because now you already proved your reliability and your good decisions, especially if you're always on time and you don't have any accidents. And yes, it's possible to do both. Last month was 4 years since my accident, and I have over 4 years of on-time delivery. So I did it. You can do it. In the links below, I have listed the High Road training, CDL training program from truckingtruth.com. It is absolutely the best online help ever. It's better than any of the apps. Learn the material and you will pass. I guarantee it. Learn the material and you will pass. Slow down and read the question and answer it. Only the question. And those are my thoughts for the day. I'm going to pick up a load tonight, and I'll be running a little bit, but since I had some time, I wanted to be able to make a couple videos, so you're going to see the same outfit in a couple videos. But thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the little notification bell, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Bye.